Hey guys, Matt here with BuiltRight Industries. Today I'm going to show you how to install our BuiltRight Industries dash mount on your 2023 and newer Super Duty with the updated dash. So let's get into it. So in this installation, we're going to use a trim tool or some other thing to pry to get the tray out, along with our 7mm socket and ratchet here. Then we're going to use a pick tool, a 1/4-inch drill bit, and our drill to mark and drill the locations in that plastic tray for the lower bracket. Then we're going to use a 3/8-inch wrench and an 1/8-inch Allen key to install the lower bracket on the tray. And then we're going to use an 1/8-inch Allen key once again to install the top plate on the lower bracket, and that'll complete the installation. All right, so here's what we're going to get in the box. Of course, a thank you card. QR code is going to bring you to an install guide, but here you are. This is the top plate for the dash mount. This is kind of the main bottom structure. You can see it attached to the top plate in the 4 corners, in addition to a center support. Hardware kit. And then finally, if you've got the Pro model dash mount, you're going to have this lower support plate. If you don't, you will not have the support plate, and you'll just use the washers that are included here. Okay, so inside this tray, there's going to be a rubber insert. I'll pull that out. May change size and shape depending on whether or not you've got a center channel speaker. And then we've got 2 bolts here, 7mm. Go ahead and remove those.
All right, so this is the Raptor, but the center channel speaker setup is very similar.
One tip is that some people will see the fasteners holding the center channel speaker on, and they'll dive right in and remove these 2. You should not need to do that.
So this front edge of the tray here is kind of tucked into the dash bezel. So we've got to start in the back to lift it up so we can pull it forward and out. So I'm going to get in here with a trim tool, gently pry, kind of work my way around until I can get my hand in there. We're just going to keep pulling up, releasing these clips one by one. On the bottom, there's a harness here. This truck doesn't have a center channel speaker, so it's really just keeping this harness in place. But if you got the center channel speaker, of course, make sure you unplug that. Remember to replug it back in. Just to give you a better look of what you just pried out of the dash, this is the tray. We started prying up back here and worked our way around. On the bottom side, you can see there's a bunch of clips here. Sometimes one of these little blue clips will either pop off or break off. You may find it, you may not. If that happens, we've included a couple of extras in the hardware kit, just in case. All right, so now we've got our lower bracket here for the dash mount. It's only going to fit in here one way. There's no risk of you accidentally installing it like that. And then you'll note front to back, there's really not a lot of motion there, so we're going to leave that kind of centered. And then side to side, there's just a hair. So I'm going to center that, and I'm going to use a pick tool. I'm going to look straight down on each of these holes and mark the center of each of these 4 holes. All right, so we've got our holes marked here. I'm going to move the bracket to the side, and I'm going to drill a 1/4-inch hole in each of these locations. I'm going to pop out down at the bottom. We'll take a look. A little bit of drywall dust in there. See on the bottom here, we're looking good. All right, so we've got our hardware kit here just in the bottom of the box. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use these 4 screws along with the nuts and washers to sandwich the support plate on the bottom and the lower bracket on the top. And if you don't have the Pro model, you will just use the washers and the nuts without the support plate. All right, so we've got our lower bracket here in the top of the tray, holding it in place. I'm going to flip this over. You can see the support plate here. The purpose of the support plate is just to add some extra rigidity to this whole plastic situation. Now I'm going to use the hardware to sandwich this and get it locked into place. I'm going to get all 4 loosely started before I tighten anything. All right, so now I'm just going to use a 3/8-inch wrench on the bottom and my 1/8-inch Allen key on the top to tighten each of these. As I tighten it, I'll just kind of make sure it's not shifting around too much, but we drilled those holes really well, so we should have no issues. so now that we've got our lower bracket and the support plate very nicely installed here on our tray, I'm gonna go reinstall this tray, and then we will configure the top plate and get that installed as well. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and reinstall this tray. Remember to plug your harness back into the bottom of your tray before doing so. Tuck this front edge under the radio bezel here. And then the tray is gonna kind of pop back down. And we're gonna hear all these clips engage. And then we'll reinstall those two 7mm screws. All right, so the next step, if you have a center channel speaker, would be to reinstall the center channel speaker grill. Of course, earlier in the installation, you would have uninstalled that, and we'll show you some video. This truck, of course, doesn't have that.
As you're reinstalling your center channel speaker grill, you'll want to start with the edge that is towards the rear of the vehicle. You may have to flex it a little bit as you're getting that speaker cover to pop back in.
All right, so the last step in our installation here is going to be to set our top plate in place and reinstall these 5 screws. Once again, I'm going to get each of these 5 started loosely before tightening anything down. Just snug is fine on this. Okay, so one thing you'll notice on the BuiltRight top plate here is this little notch. If you don't have a center channel speaker, it's not real important, you barely see it. If you do have a center channel speaker though, this provides space for you to sneak charging cables and stuff up through here and to your devices. Okay, so that is it for the installation of the BuiltRight Industries Dash Mount and Dash Mount Pro for the 2023 Super Duty. Of course, you're going to be adding attachments here just like I'm about to, whether it's Mount-Tech attachments or some other brand. It's real easy to just remove these 5 screws, take the top plate off, configure it how you need, and reinstall. Okay, so we're going to put 2 cell phone attachments here. I think actually what they're gonna do is run a cell phone and then a tablet for their like plow routes and stuff. So I'm gonna put a base like here and then probably over here, kind of mirrored. All right, so with that, you've got your BuiltRight Industries dash mount installed in your 23 or newer Super Duty. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, please find us via phone, email, or in the comments, and we'll get you helped out. Have a good one.